Okay, good evening. The time is 7 o'clock, and we'll call the October 9, 2023 Oak Park Board of Education regular meeting to order. Ms. Garrett, please call the roll.
Clark.
Here.
Copeland. Here. Davis. Alvin.
Here.
Hoda.
Here.
Madison. Smith.
Okay, we do have a quorum. So we'll go to item 2, recitation of the district mission and vision. Trustee Clark, you ready to rock and roll?
I'm ready.
All
I'm
right.
always ready. Let's do it. Our mission is to create an inclusive learning community that provides the best academic and social experience by educating the whole child, one child at a time. Our vision is cultivating visionary leaders and compassionate citizens engaged in the global community.
Thank you. I'm going to go item 3, approval of agenda. This is the order of business. The agenda was provided before today's meeting and was shared with the board. If there are no objections, we'll pass a motion to approve by unanimous consent. Are there any objections to doing so? Hearing none, the agenda is hereby approved. We'll go to approval of consent agenda, which is item 4, 2 items on the consent agenda. Any issues with that? Okay, if there's no objection, we'll pass a motion to approve the consent agenda by unanimous consent. Is there a motion? Is there an objection to doing so? Hearing none, that is hereby passed. We'll go to public participation. We'll come to the part of the meeting in which members of the public are asked to address the full board with the understanding the board members will not be able to respond. Because Trustee Davis isn't here, I'll read the public comment guidelines. Because the Oak Park Board of Education values public meetings, not just meetings with public, we welcome public comment on school issues. Speakers are asked to express themselves in a civil manner with due process for the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by public comments. The public comment portion of the meeting cannot be used to make personal attacks against a school board member or district employee that disrupt the order of the meeting and are totally unrelated to the manner in which the member or employee performs his or her duty. Speakers should be aware that his statements violate the rights of others under the law of defamation or invasion of privacy. Such comments may result in legal liability. Most comments can be concisely stated in 3 minutes, and the board will respectfully ask that comments remain focused on the topic or issue and not be directed at specific personnel or board members. Are there any members of the public who wish to address the board? Going once, going twice, going 3 times, we're gone, and we will go to item 6, action items. We have 2 of those tonight. Approval of 6A is approval of high school athletic equipment. And if, would you like to read the motion?
Sure.
Thank you.
Resolved that the Oak Park Board of Education approve the purchase of high school athletic equipment from Strengthio Fitness of Grand Rapids, Michigan. The lowest bidder in the amount of $71,205.40 to be paid for through proceeds from the district ESSER funds.
There you go. Motion made by Trustee Hoyer, second by Trustee Clark. Are there any questions on the motion? Mr. Phillips, anything?
I have nothing additional to add on those. Were there any questions regarding the athletic bid?
If the board has a question, that's fine. I just want to see if you had any comments before we do that.
No, I think it's going to be a nice addition to the second floor to start off with, and ultimately to the new field house once that gets going. But the equipment's very nice, heavy duty. It's going to have the district logo on it. It'll be very nice.
Yeah, we talked that through. All right.
I have no problems with the vendor either. They're the ones who supply the equipment we currently have.
All right, yeah, we talked that through last time. Any questions from members of the board? Hearing none, Ms. Greer will start with.
Hoda.
Yes.
Alvin.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
And Copeland. Yes.
Okay, that motion passes. Just not that it would change anything, just want to remind the board that all 4 of us didn't vote for anything for it to pass, so it's just as an FYI. On item 6B, approval of high school and middle school musical instruments. Trustee Clark.
Resolved that the Oak Park Board of Education approve the purchase of musical instruments for the Oak Park High School and Middle School from Woodwind and Brasswind of Westlake Village, California, the lowest responsible bidder in the amount of $67,375.50 to be paid for through proceeds from the district ESSER funds.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by, sorry about that. I guess my laptop was trying to second. Motion made by trustee Clark, seconded by trustee Corcoran. Any questions on the motion? Anything from the administration?
No, we have nothing to add.
Okay. Ms. Greer, please call the roll.
Corcoran.
Yes.
Alvin.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
And Hoda.
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes. We'll go to item 7A, which is grounds care and snow removal services bid. I assume Mr. Phillips. Okay. Floor is yours, sir.
Back in August, we bid out the custodial and maintenance bid, services bid. In that bid, we included grounds and snow removal. The bids kind of came out higher than we expected, and we kind of bid it out separate, or bid it as an addendum item for those, for that bid, and we decided to bid it out as separately, which we did in September. The grounds care and snow removal bid was bid out September 19th, and we ended up with sending out about 12 bids. 3 of them were received back. The range of those bids were from $90,000 to $131,000 for the grounds care, and from $38,000 to $114,000 for the snow removal. We are in the process of reviewing those bids for approval for the next board meeting. And the reason we say that is because with the weather turning as quickly as we would like to have that in place by November 1st to correspond with the maintenance and custodial bids. The 3 companies that did bid are the references checked out on all 3 of them. We just have some details that we have to iron out before we share a winner on the board.
All right. Very good.
Go ahead.
Trustee Corcoran, I saw you first. Go ahead.
Okay. The question that I had is, with the bid, what includes, if I can remember, does the bid include, like with snow removal, would it be like 1 inch of snow, or do they come out like how they, how do they?
We have it set up as 2-inch incidents, so if there's a snowfall that equates to 2 inches or more, they're automatically dispatched. Our operations department will phone them and contact them and let them know of the impending storm. They'll be ready, they'll shovel, they'll salt, they'll do whatever's necessary. Our custodial staff is responsible for the immediate sidewalks and the surrounding, right around the building, but this group will be responsible for all the parking lots, the entryways, etc., for the parking lots, all the main areas.
Trustee Lloyd.
So I'm looking at the way this is structured, and I want to make sure I understand it. So there's a number called the minimum number of pushes. So is this, one company bid on 12, one said 8, one said 15. Are they saying this is the amount that covers you up to 12, 8,
Yes.
15 for the year? So there's a gamble here on our part, right, in terms of if we go with the price for 8, then that's the price for 8, but then if it's above that amount, it's another $5,000 per push.
That's correct.
It says minimum number of pushes though, not maximum. So can you explain the difference? I mean, I know what minimum and maximum means, but what does it mean?
That means we're paying for 8 pushes. So if we have 8 events, then we break even, everything's good. If we have 11 events, then we have to pay extra for 3 more snow removals at that point. So the one who bid for 15 pushes, they're covering themselves because, we're paying for the 15 pushes. Now, if you look at the spreadsheet, how I have it priced out though, there is a cost associated with each push.
Okay.
And so, again, you're right, it is a gamble because we don't know exactly how many we're going to have. Last year was a cold year, but we didn't have a lot of pushes.
So I read this to say, this is my limited knowledge on this, but I read this to say that you must get that much, you must get that many pushes at that price. And if you have less, I wonder if the price is different.
No,
No, you still
you're
pay.
paying for 8 pushes, or let's say 12 pushes. If you only get 10 pushes, then we don't ratchet back the cost. That's what they're saying, it's a minimum. It's like an insurance policy.
I get it. It's a strange wording, but I think I understand it. But my question is, when we talk about per push, if it's a 3-foot snow event, is that still 1 push? If they have to come out 2 times on the same day, is that 1 push or is that 2 pushes? How do they?
You know, it's funny, I've never quantified it. I think 1 push is 1 visit to the district, is what it is. So
But
if they're
we'll-
here and it still remains.
We'll clarify that though, we'll, instead of giving our opinion, we'll clarify it, and when we come back, we'll get the actual wording on that. Can you just jot that
Yeah,
down, Dan?
And I hope we don't get 3 feet, that would be terrible. So.
And the wording is counterintuitive.
And then jot down the minimum question that
Yeah,
President
I
Alvin
would-
had too,
I
when
would
it was
double
legal.
check that. The wording seems counterintuitive to me. I would think, based on your description, it would say maximum number of pushes.
Well, maximum does not allow you to go more,
Right.
Right.
but we do want it, if we do have a crazy winter season, and say we utilize it 20 times, then if you put a max, they say, no, we don't owe you anything else. But this way, they owe us as many times as we call. They cannot say, we can't service you. So if we call them 30 times, because we have 30 events,
Maybe
that-
another way of thinking of it is the minimal amount that we're going to pay for.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. So,
Yes.
like,
We're paying for at least 8 pushes a year, or 12 pushes a year, or 15 pushes.
at that rate that they
Right.
gave you.
Yeah.
No. They gave us a total amount,
the bid amount.
the bid amount.
Cost per push.
No.
Above the contract. Okay,
Yes.
That's different. So that means that, yeah, I'm lost. So, yeah,
So-
let me know.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, the first one is $38,562.
Yeah.
That is the amount we're paying for 12 pushes. And we pay that amount no matter what. If we turn out to have 15 pushes, we pay an additional $3,212.50 per push.
That's correct.
Your point makes sense, but the language on minimum number of pushes,
So the minimum, in other words, instead of them saying to us, you just pay this amount per push, they're saying you have to commit at the beginning of the year to a minimum of 12 pushes at this rate.
Yeah.
It's similar to purchasing salt. We commit to a minimum of 10 tons of salt. So the companies will give us a pricing on 10 tons of salt. Whether we need 10 tons of salt or not, we committed to the minimum, that's what we're going to purchase. Now, if we need 20 ton, we could buy 20, but at minimum, we will.
yeah, you don't have to check it. So basically, we get 12, up to 12 for $38,562 if we
That's
chose
correct.
this particular bid.
Yeah.
You don't have to check it. I hate the language, but.
Yeah.
I agree with you on the language, it is.
I know what I got what they were saying. It just seemed to me that they would say your maximum number under that amount is 12. So you eat up to 12, you're good with that
Can I
number.
just ask one more on that?
Go.
Additional loader work per hour, what's that?
That's the loading of the salt. We provide the salt. And what that is if they have to come back and have that refilled, that's an extra charge, is what they're saying.
So if they run out of salt while they're doing one of those 12 pushes,
Mhm.
then they're charging us extra for that.
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, we bought enough salt, so that shouldn't run out.
Did we have any salt left over when we purchased those trucks? last
We
time?
have salt that was left over
Because I
from last
remember it
year.
came with the trucks.
Yep,
Okay.
and they just came this past week, we got another 50 tons.
Oh, you got a lot of salt.
Great. I was
That
just
you
wondering, because I
purchased.
do remember the purchase of those trucks
Mhm.
was included with the salt.
Yeah. Well, this salt we buy separate from Detroit Salt Company, and so with that.
But under Burnett, he bought
He bought way too much.
too much.
Yeah.
He bought a lot, we still got, so we're not buying any salt
I
this year.
ratchet- Well, we are, I
I
ratcheted
bought
it
max and maximum.
You bought more salt?
Well, we have the 50 from last year, the 50 tons.
50 ton, and you bought
then I
more?
bought another,
Rather have too much than not
Yes.
have.
That max and minimum.
You gotta buy it once we're in season. The price is probably
Yeah.
right.
Better get it while you can.
All right, any additional questions for Mr. Phillips? Hearing none, we'll go to Board of Administration Communications. Any communications from members of the administration?
I didn't have a superintendent's report, but I do want to share out from administration that our thoughts and prayers are with those that were impacted by the incident that occurred Friday. We are actively communicating with the families, and President Alvin and I are both going to visit some of the students once they're in a better situation. But we do want to report that they are, both young men are in stable condition, and things are looking upward. And so our thoughts and prayers are with those impacted.
Thank you. The members of the board. I'll say that I've spoken with our Steve Cooper, who is the Director of Public Safety, No Park, just to see what things are. I know they're still actively investigating, but I know they're working on it, and I appreciate them for that. Also, want to thank Councilmember Sean Whitehead for his reach out and offer of assistance wherever needed. I haven't heard from any other of our elected officials. Have you? Yeah, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Very disappointing. But nonetheless, haven't heard from anyone else on that. In any case, I've shared my sentiments with Mr. Cooper, and happy to share them with anyone else who would listen. Anything that we can do to try to make sure these types of events don't occur in the future. Happy to discuss partnering opportunities to make sure that those things don't happen moving forward. Hopefully, I know that they're doing some hiring over there. I don't know what that means for the future, but I know it takes a long time to train these ladies and gentlemen who will be, protecting and serving the city of Oak Park. So I'm hoping that there's an opportunity for us to continue to partner with the Department of Public Safety and anything we can do to try to thwart these incidences from happening in the future. I'm on board. Trustee Corcoran.
I just had a question to you in regards to when we had Mr. Whitehead come or any city council person come, and then we would go back and forth. Did that just stop, or? I know he had kids, but I don't know if we're going to
It
continue
wasn't
that.
meant, it never meant for he and I to always continue to exchange. The idea was for someone who was on this board and someone who was on that body to come over and back and forth, and that hasn't happened in quite a while. Quite frankly, not sure that is a great solution to some of the problems that plague us anyway, but still doesn't hurt to have the doors of communication open for both sides. I'm sorry.
It shows solidarity.
Yeah. Well.
I mean,
Yeah.
having that communication, I think.
Well, I mean, anyone is welcome to go over there and offer their comments, and hopefully anyone who says anything that talks about opportunities as opposed to pats on the back won't be labeled as angry as I was labeled.
Yeah, just to finish that part of my question to you is that it was a little disturbing not to see that there was anything, communicated by the city, but I did see something from Ferndale, Ferndale had posted that, that their children had made it, safely back home. I don't know if you've been on their website, but I just wanted to say that, we didn't accept it from nothing at the city, but that was just me. But that was just my question to you, is that if we were gonna get that started back, but I guess we don't need permission, we would just attend one of
Feel
those
free to
meetings.
go, feel free to go if you choose to go. If you want to be on the agenda, you can let someone over there know, and they'll put you on the agenda. I'm of the opinion that if there's an opportunity for real change and movement, that's not gonna happen at that table. That's gonna require discussions beyond that space, and I have not been engaged. Like I said, the only person who's reached out to me is Sean Whitehead, and we haven't been able to connect because I called him, he couldn't answer, and he called me, I couldn't. It's been back and forth like that. I was out of town this weekend, but I haven't heard from anyone else.
I understand.
And you haven't heard from anyone else?
Not from officials.
Yeah, that's real unfortunate.
We've been cooperating with Oak Park Public Safety, and we've had a lot of parents engage and support, and I had a lot of outreach from members of the board. It is much appreciated, and that's all I'll say.
Yeah, all right. I'll leave that where that is. All right, any other comments from members of the board? Any addenda? All right, we're going to item 10, adjournment. The board's next regular meeting will be at 7 p.m. Monday, October 23rd, here at the Oak Park Schools Administration Building. You won't be here for that, right? If nothing else, without objection, we'll pass a motion to adjourn the meeting by unanimous consent. Is there an objection to doing so?